everybody. Thanks for listening. It's the Mike Gormley Show, and this, ironically, is Mike Gormley. And we have a great guest today, all the way from England. And although she's American, so you can still like her. It's Dr. Get this, well, Dr. Professor Dr. Jennifer Otter Bickerdike. That's a title and a half.
Right?
That's good.
I sound like an amazing person, but unfortunately, you know what a complete dorky fan nerd I am, Mike. So, I can't pull any punches with you.
No, I don't get that at all. We're going to talk about some stuff you're doing. There ain't no dorky thing about it. So it's
Oh, bless. Thank
okay.
you.
Good. We're sort of brought together, Jen and I. When did we talk? Was it a year ago or more than a year ago?
Do you know what? I think it could have been more, see, 20, it must have been the beginning of last year.
Yeah, well, that's a long time. But anyway, we were talking over, and I was getting interviewed for a book called The Bangles, Eternal Flame, and I was involved in their little career. And so that's what's bringing us together today, although there's a lot more to talk about. Just to let you know, this lady has a PhD in cultural studies, has written several books, including Being Brittany, about our friend Brittany, and of course, Eternal Flame. Um, and uh, uh, well, there's one Will Sargent for Bunnyman, Echo and the
Oh,
Bunnyman,
yes.
and the next two are real. I find really interesting. It's auto or biography. I mean, on Nico, and is who may not be that well known in terms of just saying the name, but it's an amazing woman. So I got to read that. And then your other book, Why Vinyl. Well, why vinyl matters. I'm sorry, and that intrigues me as well. So anyway, these are things that are going on in your life, plus a multitude of other activity. Um, so welcome.
Thank you so much. You'll have to DM me your address, so I can send over those other tomes of mine to you after we do our show.
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. Um, so you're right now you're focusing on the Bangles book, and maybe I should sort of recuse myself because I'm in the book, but it just, how did all that get started? And generally speaking, how do you get a book started? You just call up somebody and say, I want to write about you. How do you get the ball rolling?
Well, the way the Bangles book came to be is actually a really good story, and I think it's inspiring for anybody that has a hope, dream, or aspiration about of working with someone that seems really untouchable. What happened is I had finished writing my book on Nico, and I'm like, okay, who would I love to work with? Like, what would be? I just went into like fantasy mode, Mike, and it was Go-Go's, Bangles. The Smiths are my all-time favorite band, but I thought that was way beyond any possibility. I mean, they all seemed quite fantastical. It was kind of like I wanted to meet Santa Claus. But I thought I'm going to do whatever I can to at least see if I can make this happen. And so with the Bangles, I literally just emailed their website. And we all know what it's like when you're emailing online just to a random like info at the Bangles. It's like you may as well be pitching it into the toilet or a black hole. So I emailed there saying I was interested in doing a book. Nothing happened. Then I went on my social media and I posted on all my social media. Does anybody know someone who might know the dog, who may know someone in the Bangles or would know someone in the Bangles? And I get this random response. And it was like from an acquaintance that I'd met maybe once or twice. And she was working at the sketch comedy festival in San Francisco. And she said,
Mhm.
I'm actually working for this festival. And as part of my job, I have to pick Vicky Peterson from the Bangles up from the airport. And she said, if you write a letter, I'll give it to her. Now, Mike, you and I both have worked with a lot of famous people. If some random acquaintance said, Mike, could you give this letter to an artist that you're meeting for the first time? You'd be like, oh no, oh hell no, wouldn't you?
Mhm. Right.
Yeah. I
No, we
or
don't.
maybe you would. You're a wild card, so who knows what you'd do.
Well, I would look at that. I probably, if I felt like, say, I might mention to the artist and say, look, we got this thing today, but I don't know about it. But at least I'd mention it. And
Oh, that's you're a lot nicer than me. I'd be like, no, you're a freak. I'd no. But so she gave this woman offered to give this letter to Vicky. She did. Vicky read it, and then nothing happened. And then probably 2 years after that, on a Saturday morning, I woke up and there's an email from Vicky Peterson to me asking if I was still interested in doing the book with the girls. And she had seen the initial email and she had gotten the letter, and then and you know Vicky, she's a researchaholic, like her and Sue both are. So they both had like read everything about me. They'd done like a forensic investigation on me, basically. Um, and I called Vicky that day. I was like shaking. I was so excited. And then the next day I talked to Susanna, and I that's how the whole thing started. Like I just got along so well with them. They're just lovely people. And then I eventually met Debbie as well. And that was how the whole thing got rolling. But after that, it still took about 2 years after that for us to actually do the book, because they had other of all the internal challenges with the band.
mm, I bet I bet the Nico book caught their eye more
Yeah,
than anything. I bet you that would be their taste, I think.
100%. They loved it. And what was funny is when I first started talking to them is when I was in the midst of the cycle for Nico, like doing the promotion cycle. And so
Mhm.
I actually did some, this is like I'd only known Sue for a couple months, and Susanna did some in conversations about Nico with me.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so she was really, really supportive. And Susanna's been so supportive of I mean, that's kind of been the greatest takeaway from the book, I would say, is um the relationships I have with them, in terms of seeing them as women. Like they were inspired me when I was a kid, and now that I'm in my 50s, I see all the stuff that all of them are still doing, and it's so awesome, and they're still being trailblazers in that way, and I feel very grateful to that for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mickey, the bass player, Michael Steele, did not participate, right?
No, Michael did not want, I never even talked to her. She is just doing her own thing for what I can see. And I think the only person I think that has any contact with her sporadically is Vicky. So yeah, Michael was not a part of the book, which is, you worked with Michael closely. It would have been great if she would have been a part of it, but I was grateful just to have the three kind of original members. I was very happy that I got all of them on board, which as you know is a miracle of itself to get them to
Yeah.
agree on anything.
Yeah. And it's about roughly 400 pages, and it's uh, incredibly well written and researched like crazy.
Thank you so much. I
You,
had I had an incredible research assistant, Mason Ferris. And Mason, when it was in graduate school, really wanted to work in the music business and publishing. And he was tasked with literally, I'm like, find me every single YouTube video, find me every single anything. And I probably have the largest archive of Bangles material now of anybody, probably more than the girls have. I have about 4,000 separate articles, videos, everything on them.
good heavens, that's amazing. Well, that's
I,
the kind of research you do, obviously, because I've read a little bit about of the Nico book. I mean, really little. I mean, really like several paragraphs. But I can't wait to read it because I'm a fan of hers. But just I know you will have found the story and got it out there. So that's cool. Be good.
oh, that's very, very kind of you to say. That book was crazy because there's so much mythology around, it's completely different talking. Like the challenges with that are totally different than something like the Bangles. The Bangles, you have three voices with their three experiences, and it's still a very, even though they don't necessarily engage with each other that much, those, if you talk to them about the Bangles, they automatic. It's kind of like when you go back to see your family, you instantly are like back in that, like you're the kid or you're the brother or whatever it is. It's that same kind of thing with them. With Nico, I was having to. The challenge was there's so much built up mythology around her that has nothing to do with really who she was,
Mhm.
and trying to literally, I felt like I was doing like an archaeological dig And there was, I mean, there were times I had to go to Germany and I was like looking through an archive where everything's in German. I don't speak, I mean, I don't speak German at all. I'm like using my iPhone mic in this like dusty archive to try to translate stuff. But I felt it was important because this may be the last time we have the materials and the time to really put the story down. So it was important to get those details correct.
Tell me how you got started. Kind of a bland question, but it's an interesting road you went down that's got to where you are. If you can go through it a little bit for us
With the writing or just my career in general?
in general, because
Okay, well,
what you did led to the writing. So let's check it all out.
oh, bless you.
I'll be doing research now. Okay, so I'll be doing Jennifer type research. So go ahead.
Well, it's not as exciting. Your story, I love your story and how you came up in the business. And there's definitely some parallels between us. I mean, basically what happened is I started, I went to Olympic trials for swimming. And the only reason I bring that up is because I came in fourth in my event and they took the top three people. So all this energy that I've been putting into something for, training for, it was pretty devastating at the time, but I took all of that and I started that same kind of go-getter attitude. I started putting on shows in my hometown of Santa Cruz. And this is the 80s. I'm 16 years old. We don't have the internet. We don't have cell phones. A long distance call was very expensive. And that was the very beginning of it. Like if you would, my internet was going to the record store and talking to people or getting copies of NME from England. That was kind of, those were the hubs. And from there, I went, when I was 18, I started working for Sony Music. And then by the time I was 25, I was the West Coast marketing director for Interscope Records. So I did that. Then I quit eventually to work with Gwen Stefani on launching her fashion line Lamb. And then I went and I did a bunch of different .com startups, including I did some stuff at Facebook. And then one of my friends I grew up with was murdered, and it completely just freaked me out. Like I was just like, what am I doing? I'm just
Are you
I
in LA at this point, or where?
was I what? Sorry.
Are you in LA at this point?
I was triangulating between New York, LA, and San Francisco.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, I don't know this is true for other people, but it was kind of like I felt like a prairie dog because I was 35 and I just was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dating like 19, 20-year olds wondering why it's not working out. All my friends are getting married and all I had was really my job and I didn't really know what my identity was away from working in the music business and that was really scary. So when Hunter died, that was kind of a wake up call. Like, what am I going to do and how am I going to live the rest of my life?
Well, we'll pause there because we're going to go to a commercial in a minute. Because I know that's the first part of the story, and then there's others coming together. And we were talking earlier about Nico, and we're going to head out to a commercial. Um, Listening to Nico's These Days is a great song.
Oh, great song.
And we'll be back soon to the Mike Gormley Show with our guest Jennifer Otter Bickerdike. I like saying that.
Good.